Justin Baldoni's lawyers fired back at Blake Lively's request for the It Ends With Us director to pay approximately $8 million in legal fees after their recent settlement. Lively fails to meet her burden to present credible evidence showing that the fees and costs she seeks to recover are reasonable, and, accordingly, her fee motion should be denied in its entirety. Baldoni's lawyers, Ellyn S., Garofalo and Bryan Freedman argued in a court filing obtained by US Weekly on Monday, July 13th. Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios' legal team issued a fiery response to Lively's June 29th request that the filmmaker be held responsible for $8,035,048 in attorney's fees and other costs, which Freedman, 61, and Garofalo dismissed as a whopping amount in Monday's filing. TMZ was the first to report the court filing. This is anything but a typical fee motion, his lawyers insisted in Monday's motion. His attorneys compared Lively's request to the New York Times seeking $181,622.70 in attorney's fees to dismiss precisely the same defamation claim, referring to Baldoni's defamation case against the newspaper. Baldoni sued the New York Times for $250 million over accusations that he engaged in a smear campaign against Lively, but the lawsuit was dismissed in June 2025. Monday's motion blasted an excessive expectation for Baldoni, 42, to pay for 7,007.20 billable legal hours, billed by no fewer than 82 timekeepers, to obtain the dismissal of a single defamation claim at the pleading stage. The most cursory review of Lively's submission shows multiple lawyers at the same hearings, numerous charges for lawyers conferencing, conferring, or strategizing with one another, and to put it mildly, extremely excessive research and online investigation, Baldoni's lawyers argued. Baldoni ultimately asked for the $8 million request from Lively, 38, to be denied outright or substantially reduced. It will now be up to Judge Louis J. Lyman to determine the exact costs that Baldoni will be required to pay, if anything. US reached out to representatives for both Baldoni and Lively for comment. A source close to Lively tells us that Baldoni and his team aggressively litigated against Lively, not against the New York Times, adding that the publication was in a completely different position than the actress and had a much more formulaic process throughout the legal battle. Comparing fees to the NYT ignores the reality of what they did to Lively and what Lively to do to defend herself, and the purpose and point of Section 47.1, which is to discourage retaliatory defamation lawsuits against sexual harassment victims, the source adds. This court already found on this merits that this was an unlawful, retaliatory defamation lawsuit against a person who made reasonable complaints of sexual harassment in good faith. Per the source, the only thing the NYT did in this case was file and win a motion to dismiss. In December 2024, Lively sued her It Ends With Us co-star and director for sexual harassment and orchestrating an alleged smear campaign against her. Baldoni vehemently denied Lively's accusations and countersued, though his lawsuit was thrown out of court in June 2025. Following the dismissal of Baldoni's countersuit, lawyers for both sides engaged in a lengthy discovery process that included text messages from Taylor Swift, Ryan Reynolds, Jenny Slate, and Ben Affleck being released through the court. With a May trial date looming, Baldoni and Lively's attorneys released a joint statement on May 4th to confirm that they'd settled the broader legal dispute. The end product, the movie It Ends With Us, is a source of pride to all of us who work to bring it to life. Raising awareness and making a meaningful impact in the lives of domestic violence survivors, and all survivors, is a goal that we stand behind, Lively and Baldoni said in a statement to us via their attorneys on May 4th. We acknowledge the process presented challenges and recognize concerns raised by Ms. Lively deserve to be heard. Their statement continued, "We remain firmly committed to workplaces free of improprieties and unproductive environments. It is our sincere hope that this brings closure and allows all involved to move forward constructively and in peace, including a respectful environment online." However, the legal wrangling between the two sides continued on June 12th when Judge Lyman ruled that Baldoni was liable to pay Lively's legal fees under a 2023 California law meant to protect sexual abuse accusers from retaliatory defamation suits. Lyman denied Lively's request for triple damages and punitive damages. On June 29th, Lively's lawyers asked Judge Lehman to award the actress $8,035.40.88 in attorney's fees and litigation costs related to Baldoni's dismissed defamation suit. The sum broke down to $7,495,526.87 in attorney's fees and $539,541 in legal costs and expenses incurred as part of the successful defense of the Wayfarer action. Thanks to this landmark decision, those considering using a lawsuit as a weapon of intimidation have been put on notice that there are consequences for doing so, Lively's attorneys said in a statement to us at the time. The value of this ruling is in the precedent it creates, the accountability it imposes, and the protection it provides to those who may one day find themselves facing similar retaliation for speaking the truth. Judge Lyman gave Baldoni's attorneys until July 13th to respond, which facilitated Freedman's motion to the court on Monday. Ahead of this latest legal filing, Justin and his wife, Emily Baldoni, broke their silence with an Instagram video message on Wednesday, July 8th. "We are healing, and if you've ever been through something traumatic, you know that healing isn't linear," Justin stressed. "It looks different every day, and we have had to rethink for ourselves what is real and what matters. And it's this. It's our family. It's our friends. It's our community who have been there for us. It's our faith." He went on, "I think we're closer and more devoted and steadfast in our faith than we've ever been. Also, and this has been on both of our hearts, there were so many of you who, when we didn't have a voice, were our voice. So many of you had discernment and you used your intuition and you trusted that and you have given your time to fight for us. Thank you does not feel like enough. But we're here in large part because of so many of you and all of our friends and family."